Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here at Earth and Sky. Those of you joining us online, we always appreciate when you like our videos, subscribe to our channel, and share it out with your friends and family. We are in the season right now, one of my favorite seasons, the Halloween season, the season of All Hallows Eve and the saints and so many mystical traditions that have occurred over many ages at this time of the year. Dia de los Muertos, many different names that this holiday is known for, depending on what region you're talking about with it. This is definitely one of the times that we are turning the wheel as we look at our 8 different points on the wheel. We have our 4 Sabbats, we have our Sabbats and our Esbats, the major holidays, the minor holidays, and they all correlate seasonally. This is the last of the harvest festivals. This is that time of year where we're looking back at what did we create in the summer? What things did we grow in our lives? What have you been focused on this year creating in your life? What seeds have you planted? And what things have sprouted up? As you reflect a bit on your life this time of year, this is a good time to think about what things maybe came up differently than what you expected. What do you want to let go of? What things are you ready to clear away and get out of your life as we prepare to journey into the new year that we're coming into on November 1st? What things did you grow this year that you want to have more of? Did you have some things that you planted seeds and you just started growing and manifesting and you're so excited about all the things happening in your life? Well, this is the time to recognize it's going to be time soon to plant more of those seeds and perhaps things in a different direction. But it is very important at this time of year to really reflect and also to get in touch with nature. This is a time of year where the seasons are shifting to beautiful colors around us. We can see how nature echoes the pattern of life so vividly this time of year as we see that depth of green that was beautiful on all of the trees starting to shift to the yellows and the orange and the red. And soon those leaves that are spectacular in the trees will fall and will be in the depths of winter. This is that time that is an in-between time. It is within the in-between times that we are able to really do deeper assessments within ourselves. This is why it is good to meditate between dawn and dusk, either when the sun is starting to rise but not quite having risen yet at dawn, or when the sun has begun to set but it hasn't completely set at dusk. Those are considered in-between times. This is a larger scale, macro and micro. This is a larger scale in-between times, a time that we go within ourselves and we have this incredibly powerful ability to create magnificent things, as well as to really release and let go and clear of everything that no longer serves. We've talked over the years about so many different New Years that happen depending on different holidays, different traditions, different areas of the world. Rosh Hashanah was the last New Year that we had just talked about. This, All Hallows Eve, is another one of these New Years. So it's again another time. I love celebrating many types of New Years because it's a really good way to focus in on what our goals are. It's a great reminder to reflect. If we only had one time out of 365 days that we took to reflect and to set our goals, we probably wouldn't get as far as our potential really would allow us to get as we do if we think about all of these different New Years and all of these times that we have windows in time, these incredible cosmic opportunities for growth that allow us to come in between in different zones to see what do I want to let go of, what is working really well, and what do I want to plan for this next year. As we talk about the seasons, we had 3 beautiful harvest holidays. We had where we were in the fullness of summer, the summer equinox down here, the winter solstice directly across from it, the longest day of the year, the longest night of the year. So you see how we have these balances, and then we come into our first harvest and our second and our third. So this is a good time as you're reflecting with this new year to really look at the bigger picture. So when you're thinking of your goals in life, don't just think about maybe what your work goals are. Sometimes that comes up back as one of the first things people think of. And not just your personal goals of what do you want to increase in your life, but let's look at deeper things like relationships. What goals do you have in relationships? Who do you want to be in the relationship to your significant other? Who do you want to be as a relationship to your friends? If you feel like you are having a fantastic relationship with your spouse and with your friends, then you're on the right track. You're probably being a pretty good significant other yourself. If you feel like things are a bit rocky, maybe the relationship is a bit complicated. Sometimes people use that term a bit now. Maybe you feel like you have some good friends and some not so good, and maybe they would be there if you needed them, but maybe they wouldn't. Ask yourself, what kind of friend are you? What type of person are you in these relationships? Are you someone that comes forward when somebody else has a need? Are you somebody that waits for someone to ask? Are you someone that's just typically too busy to help anyone? It's really interesting when you reflect on who you are truly in the relationships and what type of people you're attracting to yourself. A lot of times we also have a factor within that of how we feel about ourselves. What is your belief system about yourself? Your belief system about yourself, how you feel about yourself, what type of person you think you are, what your confidence level is, what you feel you are worthy of. All of these things factor into what you're going to manifest as we come into this new year. If you feel like you are not worthy of the life of your dreams, if you feel like you are not good enough, if you feel like you are maybe feeling like an imposter sometimes, feeling like you don't really belong in the life that you are and you're not sure how these things come to be around you, then it's time to do some inner work as we come closer into the winter season. When we move from this holiday of the last of the harvest festivals, it brings us closer into the time where we will soon be in the time of Yule, which is the time of darkness, where we go within and we look at what things we evaluate within ourselves, what things do we need to increase within ourselves. And the number one thing that is absolutely the most important thing for creating the life of your dreams, for being able to plant the seeds that you want and seeing those things sprout up, is to love yourself. We often look outside of ourselves for so many different things, but the biggest key is to find, to uncover, to discover where the light of your soul is within yourself. Because when you see the light of your soul within yourself, you're going to be overjoyed and you can't help but reach for some of those goals that you want. You can't help but to let that light shine. Let the voice of your soul rise to the other people that you come in contact with. And as you see the light of your soul, you start to learn how to love yourself. You see that you are worthy because you see that you are part of the light. You are made of the light, and you are here having a human experience, working your way back up to find your way to the light. All of those things are going to help so you see the light of the soul in everybody else around you. Sometimes I see people where they feel like everyone in their lives seems to have a bit of a dark shadow, and they aren't sure how to pull out of that to find people that care about them the way they care about others. But the secret, the key to that is learning to love yourself, learning to care for yourself, taking time to do the things that you need to do to take care of yourself so that you are well within yourself, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. All of these different things, the way our health is in our lives in all four of those levels, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, all of those are reflections of how we're feeling on the inside within ourselves. How worthy are you to yourself to invest the time to take into yourself, to meditate for 5 minutes a day, to do self-Reiki for a few minutes a day, to go to work out, to build up the vessel, the physical vessel that is your body, to give yourself the nutrition that you need so you have the energy that you need to store up to do the things that you want to do in this life. All of these things are ways that we can give love to ourselves that allows the voice of our soul to rise so that we can draw our tribe around us, the people that resonate at the level that we resonate, the people that lift us up when we need to be lifted up, that also receive from us when they need to be lifted up. And we find this beautiful balance that comes in. This time of year is one that is good to reflect on balance, to look at where are you expending in ways that maybe you shouldn't? Where are you holding back and restricting in ways that you shouldn't? And how do you find balance for both of those? As you evaluate and you look at your life as we prepare to turn into the next year, look at maybe writing 2 columns of things. Write 1 column of where do I have restriction? Where do I hold myself back? Where do I conserve a bit more? And your second column is where do I give? Where do I share? Where do I share the light? Where do I share what I have? Where do I share knowledge? Whatever things it is that you share. And then look at how you see those columns balancing with each other. It's not that there's going to be a one-to-one with those, but it shouldn't be all sided on one side or all sided on the other side. There should be some balance because we are here in this life specifically to share. We are here as vessels of the light, sharing that light with others to create sparks of electricity that spark the light in each other so that we all have the voice of our soul rising. This is a time, though, to really look at where are those columns in your life. And if you find that there are no areas you find yourself really restricting in your life, maybe you need to think of some places, maybe not shopping as often as you shop. Perhaps it's not eating as much as you eat. Finding ways where, whatever those ways are, that you're maybe doing things in a little bit too much excess and at figuring out how to exercise some restriction. Because when we exercise restriction on some of those things that are uncomfortable, because we would rather indulge in certain things, when we exercise restriction, we are allowing a compression to happen within the vessel so that we can expand our light even more, so that we can grow this vessel in a way that we can draw in so much more light in the next year than we have ever drawn in before. So think of ways that you maybe indulge a bit more than what is healthy. Maybe it's needing to restrict a bit with alcohol. Maybe it's needing to restrict a bit with TV watching. There can be so many different possibilities, but I would encourage you to find something that you decide to restrict on. There are a lot of traditions that say you should fast for 1 day a week, and it actually is a great way to exercise the body, our metabolism, by doing that fasting in a conscious way, where it's not just to remove the food, but it's to really recognize that you're setting your intention on something that's higher than what you normally set your intention on. So think of something that you can restrict in your life at least 1 day every week, or however it makes sense for what the thing is that you're restricting. And then look at that share column. Where do you share? Where do you share the light with others? Where do you share what you have with others? As we're in the harvest season, it's often there's a bounty of sharing that we do traditionally, a bounty of sharing things that we've grown, sharing wisdom, sharing whatever it is. So think about what it is that you are sharing and how can you share that light maybe in a different way or expand it more than what you had thought of so far. That is going to exercise your vessel again so that you can draw in even more light this next year. The more we share, the more comes back to us. It's a beautiful thing that we see within the way the universe works. And as you reflect on those over this coming week, where should you restrict more? Where should you share more? What things are working in your life? What things do you want to let go of in your life? And what would you like to bring in that you haven't brought in yet or that you want to grow more? As you journal these this week, I would encourage you to reflect on that. And as we come into October 31st, maybe set your consciousness to the light of the universe and asking that the light lift up whatever needs to be lifted up so you can come into this next year in a new vessel with radiant light guiding the way for the choices that you have. It's a beautiful time of year to meditate, especially in those in-between times, but dawn or dusk, really meditating, or in the evening hours between 2 to 4 a.m. There's often a time where a lot of people will naturally wake up, and particularly 3 to 4 a.m. And this is because there's a consciousness that comes through that the voice of our soul, the light of our soul, recognizes we can connect even greater to this beautiful light at that time. So if you find yourself over the next few days waking up during that 2 to 4 a.m. window, then I would encourage you to spend that time meditating, to really go within. And you might fall asleep while you're doing it, that's fine. Or you might be somebody that doesn't fall back asleep when you wake up, and this gives you something great that you can do that will actually help grow your life. So I really encourage that over this next week, when you wake up at that time, to think about these lessons, to think about what it is you want to draw into your life, and to consciously see yourself walking into that as we move from October 31st into November 31st. I hope this gives you some good food for thought, for ideas to celebrate this, ways to bring these traditions in. I know some of you might have larger festivities that you're planning. It's something that we have enjoyed over the years, sometimes offering different ceremonies here at Earth and Sky. Last year was wonderful. We had a couple of different ceremonies up in Petoskey to celebrate bringing in this new year, as well as at our location in Flint. And we had, at that point, the husbands of several of my students that had come too. So it's a wonderful way to bring balance in and to celebrate with others. It doesn't have to look like something that traditionally people think of with Halloween. I think sometimes there is a fear factor that comes in because of the way our commercialization has happened, making it look a bit spookier. We've done live talks in the past about the history of this holiday and different celebrations from its origins in different areas of the world, but know that this is a time where you can claim beautiful sparks of your soul to really awaken that light within you so that you are ready to walk into manifesting, drawing in, preparing to plan for all that comes in this new year that's awaiting you. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoy some of those journaling exercises over this next week. Have a great week, everyone. Namaste.